All right, so I'm back here talking about cup lineups. For me, where I'm at, giving a little backstory for this video, I'm gonna just make it Patreons only or Patreon members only until the 500, and then I'll make it public and stuff. So I can kind of break this down for you. I'll probably be live tomorrow, and that'll probably be a more general approach and topic and stuff. So for me, when I look at this weekend, it's been worst case scenario. That's just how it is. As I said in a couple videos earlier, I don't necessarily have like a budget per week. I mean, I do in a sense of like I'm at the cutoff point for this week. Like I do not want to be throwing more and more money into the 500 in a situation where I don't think I can make it. You know, I had around 150 for the duels, 300 for the trucks, which is or actually 360 for the trucks, which is the race I want to be aggressive on. Unfortunate, ran out of rain or ran into rain. Xfinity, unfortunate. Just had an overall terrible week so far. So for me, where I'm at, I personally allocated around like 660, just under 700 bucks for this week. I don't necessarily want to go into other weeks' budgets and stuff like that. So for me, for the 500, I'm looking at just doing a single entry lineup for DraftKings because I have around 100 and probably 30 bucks that I want to put towards the Daytona 500. And for me, do I want to do 4 in the 25 in a situation where I think it's going to be where personally for me, I don't think my type of approach is going to have me win that contest. Done it before, clearly not the Millionaire Maker. Done it before, but I don't believe that that is a viable approach that I should be taking. So for me, what I'm looking at here, and the reason why I'm doing this video is because I am going to really dive in, try and figure out ownership, and try and figure out how I want to approach this race. So, like for example, for me, um, I want to enter the 25. I want to enter all the single entry lineups that I can within my budget. Probably 25, 12. I'll probably throw one in the 44, possibly in the 33, the 24, and then clearly the 4, the 1, and really just attack a lot of the more casual contests with just one lineup and stuff. Clearly, leaning towards stacking from the back, but trying to pinpoint where I want to go. And so the reason I'm recording this is because I'm going to finish projections here, like really nail them down for me. I'm going to try and determine ownership, and not in the sense of like how I normally do it, to where I like highlight chalk and stuff on my heat map, which I normally do anyway, but I'm going to run the MME tool, and I figured that'd be a good way to show you guys how you can run that to understand ownership, okay, and we'll talk about that when we get to that strategy. So I'm currently going down right here and determining what I want to do, and so I will probably make my own, let me bring my own sheet over here real quick. Um, at this point, we need to try and truly nail down where people are going to finish, where they should finish, really try and understand where the public is going to go, where casuals are going to want to go, and things like that. So let me make this on my left screen, and then we can Daytona 500. All right, go ahead and copy these bad boys. I turned the camera off just because it is like 8 o'clock and it's super dark. So on this one, I'm going to try and determine, like, so personally for me, since I've decided at this point, I'm going to focus on one lineup specifically made for single entries. Ownership is the most crucial thing at this point, okay? That's the baseline, the starting point. We need to understand where ownership is going to go. So, continuing through projections, like Travis Pastrana, if he's involved in a wreck, I think it'll be a situation where he can at least finish in the top 25. When we look at Jimmy Johnson here, and these are Daytona finishes and things like that, we typically see people are either going to wreck or they're going to finish top 10. That's just how it is. So like Johnson, yes, sure, Talladega, he has finished mid-pack, but typically he's either going to finish top 10 or he's going to finish in the 30s. I'm going to lean, and this is very similar to the Xfinity Series race this time around, where we lost a lot of people who who attack plate races very strategically. Josh Bilicki, Timmy Hill, even Stacy in the 66. A lot of the people, Ryan Vargas, although he's been racing more and more, but a lot of the people who ride in the Xfinity Series race did not make the race. And then everybody who did make the race. A lot of people who started in the back ran into trouble, or they got involved in wrecks because they just raced more aggressively. So Johnson, projections wise, 42 points. I think that's going to be fine for the optimizer because I'm going to run this to try and see where it wants to go with people. Given Johnson a 20th place finish, I think that's perfectly fine because, like I said, he's either going to finish in the 30th or he's in 12th. And I don't necessarily want to project him for, like, if I project him for like 15th, 52, it's going to want to lock him in. I'll keep it at 18 here. Riley Herbst, if I knew for sure that he would approach it like David Reagan, that he would approach it like Cody Ware, I would be fine with that. But I am terrified that Herbst is going to want to race. Okay, now yes, he was involved in the dual race. He was right in the back, bad luck there. But how he's always raced in the front in Xfinity, that is a huge concern for me. I am terrified that Riley Herbst is going to run in the front tomorrow. I am worried about that. Ty Dillon, if we look back at how he runs, very smart. Very rarely, yes. I mean, he is caught up in some wrecks, but he understands how to race. I would easily give Ty Dillon, finishing this race. We'll probably bump that up to probably 17th. Okay, so we're right at the 40s there. Kyle Busch, yes, he's never, really finished a 500, but, same as Johnson. He's either going to finish 5th or he's going to finish 30th. Okay, I don't think there's really any in between there. That's why projections are kind of wonky here, and while they might not be the best use of ownership, like when we go to a regular week to where we have a clear dominator values and things like that, it's very easy to use the MME tool to use ownership. Here, I'm going to give him a 15th. That's just where I'm at. I think Cody Ware probably finishes around mid-20s. I think if he can survive the initial wreck, he can very easily finish in the top 20. But it is very, very hard to determine who that is going to be. I'll put him at 20. Connor Daly, I think, has the worst equipment, worst skill, had very little time to be in the pack. I think Connor Daly has a real high chance of being involved in a wreck. That's just how I am there. Ty Gibbs going to be with the Toyota cars, okay? Going to run with the Toyota cars all day. We finished 13th in the fall, and then got involved in a wreck in the fall race at Talladega. It's very similar. Like if Kyle Busch is going to finish well, it's most like the situation where Ty Gibbs is up there as well. And so this is a race, like I said, this is a very uncomfortable Daytona 500 build Linus for because Chalk can very easily work here with Kyle Busch, Ty Gibbs, Ty Dillon, depending on what Jimmy Johnson does, depending on what Stenhouse does, things like that. And this is a rough one. BJ McLeod, not gonna race, not gonna be involved in a wreck. It just depends on how many people are involved in a wreck in front of him. I currently have him for 29th. I don't think that's insane. I'll probably swap these two. I'll give Connor 29th and I'll give BJ 28th. Just see what the projections are. And he's 30th right now. What is that? What is the 25th? He's 25th hit value, and that's 24 points. That's not gonna get done at all. Man, there's a real... So, BJ would absolutely need 35. He needs to finish top 18. We need to have people at least be in the 40s. And I don't think he can do that. We need to be real aggressive with the projections here. And in my opinion, I think we really do have to try and possibly count out people who can't score in the 40s. What is 18th for Gibbs? That's right at 40. That's fine. Stenhouse, he's either going to win it or be involved in a wreck. No in between. Briscoe, AJ, know what he's doing. Dillon, I actually really like the way Austin Dillon approaches these races. He normally rides. Yes, he's involved in some crashes, but that's just how it is. I think I'm fine with all the other projections that I have for people. I think Byron will get involved in a wreck. They're going to run up front. Hendrickar's going to run up front. I'm concerned about him. Hamlin is going to fucking win the race or wreck. There's no in between. Hamlin is going to be pure chalk for good reason. Absolute best racer. Start 18th. Like, realistically, just off my head, Denny Hamlin, Stenhouse, Briscoe, Ty Gibbs, uh, Kyle Busch, Ty Dillon, Johnson, all have a high chance of being optimal, and ownership is going to follow them like crazy. I mean, it's really all these guys. They're either going to finish fifth or wreck out, dude. It's rough. I don't think these projections are insane, but it gives us a good idea of where things are. I'll probably at least be a little bit kinder to these boys. I think everybody I'm going to project for top 5 are people that I'm going to see competing for the win. We can probably. This is why I don't necessarily enjoy using hog points compared to the way that I do it and separate each one. Let me just see real fast. So 10 fast laps is 4.5, so we're right at. So everybody is most likely to get some fast laps in this race. So let's try and identify who's going to lead laps and how many of those laps are going to lead. Okay, so 30 laps led is 7.5 points. Let's give Bowman 5. Let's do. I'm going to do. That's 30 points. So Logano would probably be roughly projected for 30 laps led, maybe 8 fast laps, somewhere around there. You know, and we will move on from there. Blaney is probably going to be bumped up. These guys are going to be all bumped up there. And some people might be like, why are you giving hog points to everybody? Well, like, look, it's most likely that nearly everybody in the field is going to at least get 4 fast laps. Okay, if not more. Rounding that to 1 hog point is just fine. It's just dandy. Corey LaJoy is going to race. Bubba Wallace has a real chance of being up there. Jones, Reddick, like there's so many good cars back here that can easily get up there, get fast laps at some point. Typically, I mean, Kyle Busch's got to get fast laps because he'll be in second pack leading through the race and stuff. It's going to be rough. So, all right, so this is the projections here. We have. Let me go ahead. I'll show this to everybody again because for whatever reason, people have asked me a lot about the ME tool. So you're going to go to, now I've already done this, but you're going to go to shared tools in ME. We can use the heavy, we can use the adjustable, whatever you want to use. You can open that, save it, and then so we have that saved. Or you have, sorry, I'm kind of bouncing over the place. You save that to your drive. Let me get my things out. Let's see, templates, optimizer. I'm not going to run the advanced one here. I'll mess around with that starting probably week 2. Alright, so here's heavy. So what I do is I just, because I have it just saved as heavy so I know which one it is, and typically I'll put just the H in front so I understand which one it was. Okay, we have this copy. Alright, now we are going to take this, paste it here, okay, Now, thank God this computer is fast, and so let's truly try and understand where the field is going to go. While these projections aren't as spot on because it is a plate race and there's a lot of vulnerability, a lot of things can happen here, and this is skewing people towards the front. However, I want to see what this runs right off the bat, okay? With no adjustments, no idea what's going on. Alex LeBay, 16%. I don't think that's crazy. When we look back at pole sitters in the past and ownership in the past, let's see kind of where this is like clearly, and I'm going to make some adjustments here. So right off the bat, we are seeing that Hamlin, even here, carrying high ownership. Bubba Wallace carrying high ownership. These projections aren't crazy, and I think these projections are very much in line in terms of projected DFS points and projected ownership. That's not crazy. It's leaning towards these guys. Maybe not these exact numbers, but we can identify that this is where people are going to want to go. Okay, so I'm going to highlight these guys here because I think they're going to keep showing ownership. I'm not looking at the projections. I am curious about this type of stuff. We are leaving, I mean, we're in the 49s and stuff. For me, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it play more of these guys. Actually, I'm going to even this. I don't want to even it out. Let's see where things go here. I want to see what I can force this bitch to do. And I want to see if things aren't really changing here. Now that I've bumped up these guys, I want to see what these change to. And I made some pretty big changes. That's why I refreshed, just to kind of not lock it. Not to necessarily unlock it, but sometimes it'll like soft lock and stuff. And, you know. Okay, so we're here. We're seeing that we have not changed. It's going Bubba Wallace, Denny Hamlin. Okay, it still want to do that in the center of the pack. However, I have bumped up other people, and I understand that it's me personally bumping it up. I bumped up Jimmy. Didn't necessarily go as high as I thought it would. However, it has jumped on and seen that it is wanting to use Kyle Busch. Now, is Connor Ayler going to be 0% owned? No. Is Cody Ware going to be 3? No. However, now at this point, I can start looking and viewing these types of lineups to have an idea of what I think a possibility of the build might end up being. So if we look at Kyle Busch, Hamlin, Wallace lineups, I bet you Kyle Busch and Denny Hamlin are going to be quite highly owned. So that's not together. That's not together. Not together. Okay, so we have the first together line. This is leaning Jimmy Johnson in the back of the field, Keselowski up front. In my opinion, that's two guys up front, and Haley mid pack. So in my opinion, I am looking at. We are leaning, at least right here. This is now leaning towards using lineups, that necessarily would use these guys up here. So I'm going to try and be more aggressive, progressive, and try and bump these guys down a little. 10. I think people are going to. Shit, I think. Oops. Okay, so now we're at this point in the run. We're on the third run, and this is just an example. Like I said, I'll show more examples when I start working on this in a regular track, regular week, and things like that. But this gives you an idea of how I think you can see where ownership is going to go. Now, it is directly determined off of my projections that I have in the sheet right now. However, we are now seeing that we are having ownership correlate on quote unquote good drivers in the back. Okay, Jones, Reddick, Dillon, Haley, who have good track history. Stenhouse, okay, Kyle Busch, Jimmy Johnson. At this point, this is how you can determine if things are crazy or not. So even before we had changed this stuff up here, or changed how aggressive we wanted the optimizer to start putting people in, it has not changed the percentage on Kyle Busch. It has really not changed on Jimmy Johnson. It has really not changed on Denny Hamlin and Kyle and Bubba Wallace. If anything, we've gone through multiple runs, we've gone through multiple uses of this, and we're seeing the exact same type of usage in this MME tool. So now we can kind of identify at this point. We are starting to highlight where I think people are going to want to go. Okay, and we can also take a gander, and we're most likely going to see Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin, Austin Dillon, Ty Dillon, Eric Jones. This is the type of lineup that I would expect to start populating a lot of optimizers, start being used a lot. All these are good drivers. All these guys have great track history. All these guys are looking good. Okay, third, what is that? 48.7, I think. Kind of far away from my TV. 48. Let's see, same here. Jimmy Johnson, Kyle Busch, Jones, Ty Dillon, Tyler Reddick, Denny Hamlin. These are types of lineups that at this point, if I was going to max enter like 150, this is when I would be like, yeah, okay, cool. These types of builds, sure, I'm going to be high owned on some guys, but at this point, I have ran this a couple times. I've messed with it a few times. I've now kind of made it build lineups that I want to see kind of what the field is going to be making. And so at this point, I would then export it. And if you want to run 150 lines, you can do it that way. But you need to tinker in this, just like any other, just like Fantasy Cruncher, just like, any other type of thing that you do. You want to mess around with it. So at this point, the reason I've done this is, I want to see where people are going to want to go. I do think it's going to be Jones. It's going to be Kyle Busch for sure. These are guys that are clearly going to be owned, but not necessarily breaking the bank here. We don't really have a gigantic discrepancy. Personally, I don't think the projections are that different here. We have them all in the 50s, 40s. These guys are all projected well. Is this crazy? No, it's not like a definitive, ownership wise, but it gives you a great idea. Like I said, much more useful in determining ownership at like real tracks where the projections kind of matter, but gives you an idea of how lineups are going to be being built. So I'm going to leave this like this. I'm actually going to pause this right fast. Alright, sorry about that. I had to pause it. I want to go ahead and just look at these contests real fast. I know people are gonna be like, "Whoa, dude, I'm taking your advice, and you got jack shit in your account." Shut the fuck up, bro. I've had multiple grand in here, and I've had nothing in here. Doesn't matter. As I've stated before, I'm just currently at what I want to spend for the 500. Right now, actually, it's gonna take forever. Let me do this. So I know. Let me see. I wrote them down earlier today, and I figured I would end up doing this stuff. So I'm gonna do this one because I'll kill myself if I play the optimal and not like. Can you imagine? That's even in football. I always play the millionaire maker because I will absolutely kill myself if I accidentally play the optimal and I can't take advantage of it. So it's 44, 4. I'm gonna do the 12. Want to do the 33. Want to do the main. Oh shit! I thought this was a $4, not a $3. I'll come back in a second. I think we have an $8 that I want to be in. And I will talk more about contest selection in a second. So right now I'm at 4. See, I should have. Right? Oops. How do I? Used to not. As I said, my mouse double clicks a lot. All right. We have, yeah, cool. Okay, and then I just need the main 3 and the 1. And then the whole reason that I ran the optimizer and put so much time into it was due to the fact that I can do another one later tomorrow maybe. Yeah, these types of lineups here are, in my opinion, what people are going to try and build with and around, and maybe not exact, but I think they are very close, if not somewhat similar to some of the lineups being built specifically for the. Actually, let me go back here because I want to see the good old Roto Grinders app. Um, Look at the 44, for example. Okay, quarter paid out, top 1050. Not too bad, not too insane. A lot of people are going to be like me. It's for this contest. It's very expensive to max out. That's just how it is. A lot of threes. Shout out to you. Max it out. 15, but a lot of twos, a lot of twos, a lot of twos, one, single, five, four. 3, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. It's either a situation to where you're maxing 39 lineups out in lineups that I believe are going to look like this, or you're doing one line. Okay, so in my opinion, what I want to do is try and get off these types of line. That's just how it is. When I'm doing single entry here, I understand that I want to try and score well, or I'm not going to cash. Like min cash in here, I don't give a shit about min cashing in this situation. What are these people doing here? Okay, I would imagine that. Hey, there I am. I would imagine that this contest will most likely begin with I want to use Kyle Busch. We will get there eventually. Who is the best play back here? Who is the most consistent driver in terms of what we have looked at, in terms of how we have done, in terms of big name ability? I think a lot of DFS players are going to go to Ty Dillon. I think that's just how it's going to be. Okay, so identifying where I want to try and get off of. I like Ty Dillon. I might end up eating the chalk for Ty Dillon because I think he is the best play in this range here in terms of safety, in terms of upside, how he's carried himself in these races. He understands what he needs to do to get to the end of the race. Okay, now who is the next big name back here that I think that's going to carry ownership regardless of his finishes? I think that's Kyle Busch. I really do think that's Kyle Busch. So I'm playing him here, and when we look at where Kyle is popping up here, Kyle carrying ownership, Kyle being pushed, okay? Kyle is in a lot, he's in a shitload of lineups. I would not be shocked if he is 55, if not 60, specifically in a contest like, oh shit, I didn't enter 24. I meant to get into 24. Oh, what is that $24, man? I really don't want to add another 24 to this shit. That's a small contest, right? 700 people. I don't like that payout structure. Let's use 33. I mean, we could use this one for an example. Because this is the biggest single entry contest there is, So, let's look real fast. Okay, if Kyle Busch, it would be hard to fade Kyle Busch in this contest. Okay, in my opinion, I'm just going to say, top of my head, 55% own Kyle Busch. Okay, if you don't play Kyle Busch, and if he pushes 60, you are at a huge advantage in this contest here, which you guys already know that. But for me, I think Kyle's the first one that I absolutely don't play due to my personal contest selection and how I want to approach this. I think his ownership is too high for me to feel comfortable playing him, because if he happens to run into an accident, an issue, whatever the case is, we are going to get past half the people in this contest. Okay, so I'm going to identify him, and I am going to personally, for me, right now say I do not want any Kyle Busch. Okay, let's continue on. All right, Denny Hamlin, clearly fucking tough fade, but that's how it's going to be. Kyle Busch and Denny Hamlin, the fact that they're both starting outside the top 15, the fact that they are both in Toyotas, the fact that they are big names with high upside, the fact that they are being put into a lot of lines. Let's just see real fast how many Hamlin, or how close he is to the top. He is right there. He's right there, right with Kyle Busch. In my opinion, Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin, some of the highest guys projected to be optimal. Same thing with Ty Dillon. This is why I'm fine eating the chalk on Ty Dillon. I do not want to eat the chalk on Kyle Busch. That's where I'm at. Okay. Now, Tyler Reddick is another name popping up. Okay, we can look at how Reddick is popping up just based on projections alone. We can look at how he is being played together, and we don't, there's no rule to play, Toyotas here. But if it's naturally putting the three Toyotas here, we have just Toyota stacks in a lot of places here. This leans to me. This tells me I think Reddick is also going to carry a lot of ownership because people are going to want to stack. They're going to want a team stack outside of the fact that Reddick is popping up a lot. We're going to want to team stack him. Okay, so we're identifying. This is me kind of building my line. I don't know what I'm going to play yet. I know right now I'm playing BJ and I'm playing Cody Ware. I know 100% I'm playing those two drivers. I'm most likely going to play Ty Dillon as well. I know for a fact I'm playing these guys. BJ is tough because, as we discussed earlier, this is concerning. This is concerning at 25th. We need, and he's done it twice. This 23rd, let's just see real fast. That 23rd is 29 points. That can't do it. Can BJ get a top 20? We need to tear shit up. And I think we will. We're seeing that grip is wildly important this week. Can Cody Ware? Cody Ware is going to finish, in my opinion, in the top 20. We've seen that time and time again outside of races that get stupid. I like Cody Ware. So right now, Ty Dillon, Cody Ware, two drivers that I want to play that I'm going to do in my single entry lineup right now. Anyway, continuing on. I want to talk about Haley, AJ, Chase Briscoe, Stenhouse Jr. Who from this is going to be lower owned? Let's just see kind of what this is saying right now. So in my opinion, I'm going to bump these guys to where they're even real quick, but I think that Briscoe will be the lowest owned of these guys. I could be wrong. It's still, okay, it's still there. They're all even. Briscoe's still the lowest. Let's see how drastically different his projection is. 46, 43 for AJ, 45. I mean, that is not crazy. And that's a gigantic, we do get a pretty substantial discount. Let's just see how close to the top Briscoe is. That's going to get Elliott too. Let me do Briscoe. Wallace, Logano, Haley. Let's just see. Let's bumped a bit more. Moved AJ down. We're still seeing Ty Dillon, Kyle, Austin. I mean, I think these are lineups that people are going to run. Man, I really do. These are lineups that I think are going to be optimal. I just kind of want to get off that ownership. But Briscoe is up there. But he's up there a lot less than everybody else. That's really interesting. The fact that it's close, and he's there. Stenhouse, I think he offers higher upside. Justin Haley. Let's look at these. Excuse me. Let's look at these finishes real quick, and even let's look at the amount of times they've been optimal. Haley optimal ton. AJ has been optimal. What the fuck is this? Has he been up? Jeez Louise, look at his finishes at Daytona. Holy free holies, dude. That's fucking insane. Do we have, that's 18, 17? Do I have the lap, I don't think we have the lap by laps for that. Let me look. I'd love to see where he ran. 18, do I have lap by lap? I don't. Damn. 17, I don't. Damn. That's when he was with JTD or JDJ, whatever the fuck that dumbass name is. He had to run the back in these races, man. If people are going far enough back, they're going to see these. It might bump his ownership up, but He's not with. He's with colleague. I don't know. Him and Haley are gonna work together. Ever since Haley really ran in colleague in Daytona and stuff. I don't know, dude. That's a tough one. And Briscoe's a Ford. So where I'm at right now is I'm leaning to Briscoe being the lowest owned of the Jones, Reddick, Dylan, Haley, AJ, Briscoe, and Stenhouse pairing. What we have going for Briscoe is really good practice times, really good showing in the duel. What the hell happened to him in his duel? Am I an idiot? What, I don't remember what happened to Briscoe in the duel. So let me look real quick. Was he the first one or the second one? What happened here? Did he get flushed out? Lap 7. What happened? Was this debris? Was this the debris crash? The debris caution? It had to be. I need to put the yellows on the laps. Possible debris caution goes down in pit. Let me look real fast. Let me pause this. Okay, so after looking at stuff, Briscoe was incredibly loose at the start of the dual race. He and this is when the caution came out on lap 8. He pits under a closed pit stall, so he has to, or under a closed pit, so he has to go tail into the lead lap. He pits again during the Kyle Busch wreck, and runs in 16th for the rest of the day, or 15th rather. And I kind of like that. I like that they focused on the car. He's one of the few drivers that ran both practice sessions and stuff. So that's good to see when we look at his finishes. Yes, these are concerning. He's involved in wrecks, but I think everybody's going to be involved in wrecks. He has a Ford. Depends on what the Fords really want to do. I'm very interested in Briscoe. He's really piqued my interest. I'm not gonna lock him in yet, but he is probably the driver that I've kind of identified that I want to possibly get to. Stenhouse, dude, there's so much risk involved here. There's so much risk pass here. Anyway, let's kind of continue and determine where ownership is going to go. Do people play Jimmy? Possibly. We've seen him be optimal at Dega. We see his finishes. I think he's going to be very popular. Possibly want to go to Jimmy. As I said, I'm fucking worried about Riley Herbst. Took all day, or didn't practice the first time because they had to repair the car. I wish I knew what Herbst was going to do, man. I really do. He's not popping at all. What do I have him projected for? I have him for 28. 28 points. Finishing 27th. What does he need to get 40? Let's do 22nd. Damn, dude. That's a tough sell. How did Riley run in the duels? Yes, he was involved in the wreck, but what was he doing before? Riley Herbst rode in line. Didn't do anything stupid. Good to see. That makes me more confident. I didn't remember if he raced up there or not, but that kind of makes me more confident. Same thing with Cody. Cody just rode. He understands what's going to happen. You know, Ty Dillon just rode. He understands. He's not going to be stupid. That leads me to be interested in him. Travis. He said in the interview he didn't necessarily want to start racing that quickly, but he was given the green light to go in the truck race. That's concerning. He rode here You know, what did he do in practice? Didn't do the second practice, just took it out there. I'm worried about Travis carrying ownership. Worried about Jimmy carrying ownership. Damn, bro. Let me look at Travis's old laps. Hold on. Alright, we'll do this together here. I'm not gonna look at these. Look at these 2 years here. I want to focus on the plate races. Got involved in a wreck. Got involved in another wreck. And he never ran again, so it was the first one that was the high-speed crash fest. Travis. Alright, wrecked out of this one. Lap 71. Let's see where he crashed at. Okay, so what I did was I looked back at all these races and stuff. Racing incidents. One of these he didn't clear himself. Another one he was actually the Talladega race had didn't clear himself. The second Daytona race had nowhere to go. First one, Travis rode in all these races here. So I want to go ahead and look at, now I need to get the truck laps from the truck race. And Travis earlier started racing after the initial start and drove. That pisses me the fuck off that he raced up there. He rode for the first portion of the race. We had a shitload of yellows. Things got real stupid. He got track position on the pits in lap 23, but he rode until then. I'm leaning more towards Travis Pastrana riding and not doing anything crazy, to be honest with you. You know, I think Jimmy's going to carry more ownership. Jimmy is going to probably race more. Fuck, we're really splitting hairs here, man. We are really splitting hairs here. God damn it, man. Like, Jimmy can be fucking optimal. It just... Fuck, dude. I hate this goddamn race. I hate this lineup. Fuck. I hate this lineup so much. Travis Johnson Collar. Son of a bitch, dude. Ty Gibbs is going to carry ownership. I just think this is going to be the most difficult Daytona race slate to win. With the amount of people you can play, you can do a Toyota stack so easily with Reddick, Hamlin, Gibbs, Kyle. It's so fucking wild, dude. It's so wild. I'm gonna lean to Ty Gibbs getting up there and racing. Like, actually, I really, this is like the Derek Cope disaster all over again. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that, if you guys are following me at the time, but I played Derek Cope in the 500. Some bitch motherfucker wrecked on lap, like, 2. Where did Gralla finish last year? I know he lost that fucking tire. But where did Kaz finish last year? Man, I do not. He finished 26th. What does that give Connor? It's 26 points, man. I don't want to play. I don't want to play Connor Daly, dude. Single entry, one lineup. Actually, it might be more fun doing single entry, to be honest, at this point. Otherwise, you're just fucking swinging so many fucking lineups. This is either be a fucking great line. This is a great contest at like 20 max and 150 max, or just do one. I think if you do three, you're just gonna fucking end up being pissed off. I don't think I can play gives with the ownership that he's gonna carry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Dude, that might be where I just fucking make a run. Okay, so let's actually get out of this. So in terms of guys high potential to be optimal, let me change these colors real fast. A high chance of being optimal will be, where's Reddick? Guys in purple, a high chance of being optimal. Okay, as backed up by this type of stuff that I went over earlier. It makes AJ look better. It makes Briscoe look better. Like, good cars like Haley, AJ, Briscoe, Stenhouse. We know Haley's going to be up there at some point in this race. Okay. Let's think back at the July race. So at this point, okay, let's focus in on this. Haley got wrecked out. Was basically fucking. He was like in seventh when that rain hit. AJ, they're probably going to work together. Let me try and work backwards here, because this is how I try and like to mention lineups, and we can very easily get in trouble. Because Travis might be racing at this point, Johnson might be racing at this point, Herbst might be racing at this point. But in terms of who back here will be competing for the win at the end of the race, Haley, Gibbs, Dillon, Jones, Byron, Hamlin, Truex, Reddick. Let's change these colors. Let's put them at orange. These guys competing for the win. Straight up how it should process. Stenhouse 2. Okay? Of these individuals, who's at a high chance of being involved in the final wreck? If these guys are all, in my opinion, should be top 15 drivers at the point of like fucking 10 to go or some shit. Kyle, Stenhouse, high concern about being involved in a wreck. Haley, because due to the proximity of it. Hamlin, possibly. Okay, so let's go back and type these guys as like possible DNFs up in the front. Okay, possible Briscoe as well, but this is where I'm leaning. This is why I would. This is where I'm at. If I can get off this ownership, hopefully they'll be involved in a wreck at some point. We can take advantage of that. Do I want to get where I'm playing to win $1 million or whatever? I might want to focus in on some of these guys back here. Suarez is going to be up there at the end. He'll either win it or get destroyed, so I'm concerned about that. These guys are starting too high up for me, in my opinion, just where I'm at there. Reddick, Toyota car. Jones and Dillon typically seem to survive these races. You know, Jones, I think he'll survive. Austin Dillon, I think Dillon will survive. I think Eric Jones and Austin Dillon make fantastic pivots. If you're looking at Suarez, Reddick, Haley, Stenhouse, you know, I think you should very highly consider these guys. Do I want to take one of them? Maybe. I think everybody who's green and blue, one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine. That's 9 drivers. I think between these 9, I got my 6 in this. Use the I'll have my lineup with 6 of these 9 drivers. I think that's where I want to be at. Um, for me personally, it I want to play ownership. For good cars and stuff, I think you can very easily. I've made enough cases for everybody else up here. It's gonna be a fucking. This is a difficult slate to win, and man, God be with you and your drivers. That's all I gotta say. Thanks for listening, boys, and I'll catch you guys in live show or in the next video, whatever you guys watch that ends up coming out after this one.